Did I fail my stash busting goals? I'm gonna let you be the judge. Hi, it's Hannah with Fabric Cafe. It's time to check back in. How are we all doing with our stash busting goals? You all have made a ton of progress. There are lots of quilts that have been finished, being quilted or bound right now, and that is all so amazing. Those UFOs are gonna be done in no time. And you also gave me a lot of ideas for my niece's quilt. We're gonna talk about that in a minute, but first, let me share how I did with my goals. So starting at the top of my list of goals, I wanted to make 2 full colorways of lanterns for my Mosaic Quilt. So here's one of the lanterns that I made last time. And then the colorways that I chose to make the next lanterns was this nice green. And I had 1 full lantern of this and then just a peekaboo of it in another section. And I'm making this quilt in kind of an interesting way. I'm piecemealing the quilt as I go. So you can see here's the little peekaboo. I went ahead and sewed this block together and I chose to make the other colorway that was gonna be next to it so that I could sew 1 whole row to it. It's very odd, kind of just bouncing around from colorway to colorway, making 4 at a time so that I can kind of build. And then I didn't have very much fabric of this blue, so I'm only doing smaller lanterns and some peekaboo sections. So here is the other lantern. This one is going to go here. Now I just built this section and I did them in the lantern pieces so that when I keep building, I'll be able to kind of build it together. I'll build up the rest of this, then sew it to that. I also have this one, this little corner. I worked ahead a little bit and made just a tiny bit of one of my other colors because I wanted to do at least 4 blocks together. I think that kind of makes it go easier together. If they're all in 4 chunks, they're easier to sew. I also made some fabric changes. I was planning on using this stripe in some of my lanterns, but while a stripe would be possible in this, I think it might be a little bit tricky thinking about how the stripe is gonna get turned, how it's gonna match up, and I just don't wanna deal with that. So I'm setting this aside for a possible border fabric. I know I already have my border fabrics picked, but I might change it because I really like this stripe. So as I get closer and I see what colors I kind of need, I might swap this out for one of them. Instead of using that stripe for a lantern, I decided to pull this fabric from my stash because it has a lot of the different fabrics and motifs and things that I've got in the quilt. I think it'll just balance out the quilt in all of the different colors. I also updated my cheat sheet color page with some fabric descriptions and I numbered them. It's not been that long ago since I made this and I was already starting to forget what some of the fabrics were and what I meant when I colored it. I wrote little descriptions for them and then gave them numbers. So like this fabric, this purple one right here, I wrote 1 purple with beads. And then everywhere I have that, I do a little 1 so that I would be able to look at this and know, oh, that's what that is. So that will make it a little bit easier for me. I wanted to make this before I got too far so that I would have a little bit of extra help. Next, I wanted to finish my Providence quilt, get it to the long arm, and then bind it if possible. I do have it back. I finished it, got it to the long arm, got it back. I have it machine bound, but I do not have it hand bound yet. But I still have plenty of time before my deadline, so I'm feeling pretty good about this. For the quilting, she picked this beautiful leaf print, this leaf design that goes all over, and she did it in a nice creamy gold. For the backing, I chose this small print. It's kind of like a button flower to me. It's got like a little polka dot center that looks like the center of a button, and then it's got this flower. And I liked the colors because I thought it picked up a bunch of the colors in the panel. You can see all of the different fall colors. You can see all of the different colors in the leaf too. It picks up all of those. And I thought it was just kind of a fun, sweet background. Doing pretty good on this one. I feel pretty good. Now I challenged myself to hand quilt 3 blocks because I did 3 blocks before. Surely I could do it again. And surely I did not. I did 1.5 blocks. So I didn't quite make my goal on this one, but I'm not too upset about it. I still made progress. Life got really busy the last few months. Some other things had to take priority. One of those things is Blake and I took a vacation, which was wonderful. And then another one, we're fostering some kitties. We had a mama cat and 3 kittens show up at our house. So now my sewing room is not my sewing room. Most of my things are in the living room because we've created a little kitty sanctuary in there. So things have been a little bit hectic figuring out all that stuff, but they're awfully cute. So I'm willing to share my space with them. So what I did get accomplished is I got 1 heart done and I got the border of this second block and 1 bubble. Yep, 1 bubble right there. Making progress. This one is near-ish to being done. I just need to do some of the bubbles in the center here, and then this one will be done, and then this whole row will be done. I was still able to accomplish something, and that's the main thing. I just want to keep moving and not let my project stagnate. My next goal was to make my Park Place quilt and get it to the long arm. I did it and I got it back from the long arm this week. I'm so excited about it. So Lucinda did this great geometric kind of design on it. I let her have free reign. I told her, just pick something fun. The only thing I wanted was blue thread because I thought there's so much blue in the quilt, it needed that. And then for the backing, I wanted something fun and whimsical. So I picked this polka dot that has polka dots of all these different colors that the axolotls have. It's a contrasting color with this gray, but I thought it was so much fun with all the different colors. Now I did make some changes when I was pulling the fabric and making the quilt. Originally, I had planned on using this dark teal for my fabric number 3 borders and the binding. But when I was cutting out the fabric, it just felt too mature. So I pulled in this electric blue instead that was from my stash, and I was able to use this for my number 3 border and my binding because I thought that extra pop was just, I don't know, a little more whimsical, a little bit more fun. And I was able to use some of my purple for my first fabric number 3 border. So it kind of tied in all of the other things. Also on my border, I was a little bit short for my fabric. So I thought I was gonna have to use 1 strip of this. But when I got to the very last bit of my border, I only had like this much left. I thought, well, I can make a little scrappy bit on the corner. So that is exactly what I did. I sewed a couple pieces together. I just sewed it onto the end of my border strip and I was able to do the same fabric all the way around. But in a pinch, I think this would have worked because it kind of complements that. I don't think it would have been that obvious even that I was using a different fabric. So that's a good idea too for you whenever you're working on your quilts if you need just a little bit more. Pull in something that looks similar. Now Knit BB said that they also started making Park Place. I really enjoyed making this pattern. It was really easy, but it still had some interest to the piecing with our 4 patches here, still kept the interest going. So I hope you enjoy making it too. I also wanted to make all of my blocks for my Reflections quilt, and I have a confession about this project. When I first shared my plan with you, I talked about using my 2.5-inch pre-cut squares in the center of the border block here. Well, it turns out that that's not where you use the 2.5 squares in this quilt. You actually use them for your corners right here for your snowball on the big blocks. I just assumed it was right here. I didn't actually read the pattern to confirm that information. And yes, I know, I do this all the time. I'm always telling you how I changed something or I had a hiccup because I didn't read the pattern. And I always say that I'm gonna get better about it. But I've come to the conclusion that I never will learn. You know, it's just part of my personality when it comes to quilting, and that's okay. It just means that I have to think on my feet sometimes and be willing to improvise, which I actually have a lot of fun doing, so I'm just gonna let the chaos rule. I could have made the borders around this square a little bit bigger to make my original plan work, but that seemed like too much thinking. So I decided just to use them for the big blocks for the center. Now, I originally planned on sewing all of the squares together, but I realized very quickly that I wouldn't get very many blocks doing this because, as you can see, I used a lot of little squares to make this big enough. So what I did is I pulled in some leftover 5-inch pre-cut squares I had and some scraps that were in a similar style. And I just started sewing pieces together. I didn't plan any of this out. I just started laying things out on my table and combining them in ways that I thought was cool. Here, this was not quite big enough, so I just added a little bit of a border on it so that it would be the right size. After I was done with that, I needed just a few more, so then I cut out 4 squares from my solid metallic rows. So that will be interspersed with all of these piece blocks. Now, my goal for this quilt was to make all of the blocks. I don't exactly know what I meant by that. Did I mean just sew all of the squares into the blocks like this? Did I mean that I wanted to sew the squares together and do the stitch and flip on the corners? Did I want to also make these block Bs? I'm not sure. So I'm going to say that my goal was just to get these pieced blocks done, which means I met my goal. Now, do you think I'm cheating? Let me know in the comments. Now, there was one goal that I got really ambitious about and got extra work done, and that was my Halloween wall hanging. I ended up making it, quilting it, making the hanging sleeve, and prepping it for binding, and hand stitching the hanging sleeve, because you gotta hand stitch this part on. So here is my wall hanging, and this is the Bitty Bungalow Block B, and I chose that one because it had a little bit more space on the top, and I wanted, some room to do some hand quilting. I also added a 1.5-inch gray border on just my sides here so that I had a little bit more room to add different details like a tree and things. And then I added a 1.5-inch border all the way around with this cat fabric. And I used a bunch of different things. I used one for the door. This is sheer dumb luck that this cat ended up in the middle of the door. I did not work for that, it just happened and I was so excited. I worked ahead on this for a couple of reasons. One, I was enjoying it and I wanted to keep working on it. So I wanted to, take advantage of that momentum. And 2, I used a dark gray thread for my piecing when I was making the block. And I knew I wanted to use it for my stitch in the ditch, which I did right here on the edge of the house, around the door, and around right here. And finishing the piecing and the stitch in the ditch meant that I didn't have to change my thread because I knew I didn't need a dark thread for my next project. So I was like, I don't want to change it yet. Have you guys ever done something like that? Pushing ahead on something just so you don't have to change your thread as often? When I was doing my hand quilting, I did have to change plans a little bit. When I first did the cat, I tried quilting it so that it was solid, like all the way across, but it just wasn't looking right. It felt kind of bunchy. It wasn't looking like a cat. So what I just did for all of the quilting is I did some variations of big stitches. So I just did an outline of the cat with the black, and I think it looks good. I think you can tell it's a cat. In my tree, I did smaller stitches for the trunk going up, and then in some of my branches, I did some longer ones. I did that for my little chimney. I did long around the edges. I just kind of played with it and did some different things, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. The last thing on my list was to make my design board. This did not happen. I did get the batting, but I never made it. And many of you suggested using flannel for the design board. Cindy said that she used a cheap tablecloth with a flannel backing, and that is so resourceful and smart. I bet you could find one at a local thrift shop or something like that. That was a great idea. Pam and Lacey said that she used a matte board cut into squares and then covered it with microfiber. So I already have the batting, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it, but I'm gonna keep some of these suggestions in mind. So if I have any trouble in the future, I can always redo the design board with new material. So that's what I was able to accomplish. It wasn't everything, but it was still a good chunk. Also, full disclosure, I may or may not have added some fabric to my stash. I couldn't resist. But that's why I'm making room for beautiful new fabrics like this. The next project I really want to focus on is my niece's quilt. Her birthday is in the fall, so I think that will be pretty good timing. And like I mentioned earlier, you all had some great suggestions for this. For permanent markers, several of you suggested micron pens. Now, I'm not familiar with these, so I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research. Chelsea Shells uses fine point Sharpie markers, which also would work. And Sherbrundage said that there is a gel pen made just for fabric that she likes to use to sign quilt labels. Lynn H also suggested that when you're using permanent markers, to be sure and pre-wash the fabric before writing or drawing on it. Now, she said that the chemicals and the finish on the new fabric can prevent the permanent marker from really reaching into the fabric for longevity. But I always like to wash my quilts before gifting them, so that's no problem. But I also had a lot of suggestions to give my niece washable markers so that she can draw on it multiple times. And I had never thought about that, but I think it's a really fun suggestion. Debbie Kuhn made a fabric coloring book for her granddaughter and gave her washable crayon markers. She said that they are easy to wash off fabrics. She just used a little spray and wash. So something I want to do before the next time we meet is to play around with these things and make a final decision on the direction for her quilt. I've really been enjoying seeing your updates about your progress. Some of you shared that you didn't quite finish everything you were hoping to, but still accomplished something and were positive about it. And I'm with you. I didn't get everything done that I planned to either, but I feel okay about it. The fact that we did anything is still a success. So, our next meeting will be at the end of September, just in time for us to meet up for a holiday quilting chat. Now, here are my goals for the end of September. I want to make 2 full colorways of lanterns for the Mosaic Quilt. This method worked really well for me last time. It means I can cut out all of the fabric for one colorway while I have that fabric pressed and flat and everything. Number 2, hand bind Providence. This quilt is my priority because it is a gift. Now, I'm gonna be giving this quilt gift before the next time we meet, so I'll be sure to let you know how the recipient liked it. I want to hand quilt 2.5 Amore blocks. This will finish out this one I already started, and that will finish out that entire row that I'm on. And then 2 more blocks will get me a really good jump on the next row. Then I want to finish Bitty Bungalow wall hanging. This one shouldn't take very long at all because it's already prepped. You know, it will be a good project to throw in after I'm done binding my Providence. It's a nice, good project to make me feel accomplished. I want to bind my Park Place quilt. I want to finish my Reflections quilt and get it to the long arm. So I have all of the main blocks done. I'm gonna use this fabric for my number 2 and this fabric for my number 3. I want to make my design board. And then I want to make test blocks and finalize my quilt plan for my niece and get that fabric going. I'm keeping the list a little less ambitious this time, and I know it sounds like a lot, but many of these things are almost done. You know, this I only have to hand bind. My Park Place, I just have to machine and hand bind. And I enjoy doing the binding in the evening. I get to sit on the couch with the dog and watch something. So I don't think this is gonna be too challenging to get done. And if I get done with these early, I have some other UFOs we talked about in the first video, so I can always throw one of those in if I get to work ahead. Or I can make a scrap quilt to try and keep up with all of the scraps that I'm accumulating. Only time will tell. I want to thank you all for taking the time to comment and let me know where you are. I love hearing about all of the different projects you're making and the goals you are making. If you enjoyed this video and you haven't subscribed, then consider subscribing and clicking that notification bell so that you don't miss any of our videos. It really does help us out, so thank you. If you would like to get some ideas on easy quilts to use up your fabric stash, then be sure to watch the video that pops up next. Happy quilting!